A vigil of remembrance and hope tonight to honor the lives lost at a Pittsburgh synagogue. That is our top story tonight.
Fill our hearts with peace as you lead us to your name.
More than 100 people joined in song and prayer at Temple EMANUEL in Davenport. Rabbis, pastors, and an imam took part in the candlelighting ceremony with a light for each of the 11 victims. Those here tonight tell Fox 18 News they came to show support and stand as one against hatred of any kind.
Faith is personal, but yet there's a part of it that is out there. And my faith says this is where I should be.
We're certainly hopeful that if we can come together as a community, we'll stand stronger and the light will overcome darkness.
Love conquers all.
The people here tonight also sent personal cards of encouragement to the congregation at Tree of Life Synagogue. Now to concerns over safety at houses of worship here in the Quad Cities. Fox 18's Brianna Collier spoke with rabbis and community leaders for more on the impact the deadly rampage had on the local Jewish community.
He's got an automatic weapon. He's firing out in front of the synagogue.
At first I was just shocked and then grief-stricken.
It was shock. It was the first thoughts for me is this synagogue protected?
Rabbi Linda Burtonthal and Alan Ross are just two of many in the Quad Cities who were shaken by the deadly massacre that killed 11 people at a synagogue in Pittsburgh.
First they said 4 had been killed, and that was horrible. Then they said 8, and that was horrible. And then it was 10, and then finally 11. And then I was just praying that there'd be no more.
What was meant to be a day of religious observance kept by Jews.
Anti-Semitism has been with the world, I guess, pretty much as, long as we can all remember. Those of us who grew up as Jews grew up with a rising awareness that this was a danger around us. And sometimes it's limited to hateful speech, which is itself hard to deal with.
Quickly turned into a nightmare, one Rabbi Burtonthal will never forget.
The fear of this kind of violence is always with us. Those of us who converted into Judaism came into Judaism with a deep awareness of what we were getting ourselves into.
Although it was miles away, it still hit the Quad Cities community harder than ever.
It could happen anywhere. It happened in Pittsburgh, it could happen in the Quad Cities.
One that puts Alan Ross on edge.
We need to revisit our security measures. Synagogues do have good security, but there's always room for improvement.
A tragedy both Burtonthal and Ross.
And going forward is that this act will hopefully work to help unify many of us in this country who have been divided by many issues.
My hope and prayer is that we will all take this as we have failed to take so many other moments to say no more. We can't go on like this.
Hope never happens again. Brianna Collier, Fox 18 News.
Brianna, thank you. The shooting victims were between 54 and 97 years old and included a pair of brothers, as well as a couple who had been married for over 60 years. Today, 46-year-old Robert Bowers here was charged with murder and federal hate crimes and could face the death penalty. Pittsburgh mayor called yesterday the darkest day in the city's history, but says the answer is not putting an armed guard in every house of worship.
During the course of his deadly assault on the people of the synagogue, Bowers made statements regarding genocide and his desire to kill Jewish people.
The approach that we need to be looking at is how we take the guns, which is the common denominator of every mass shooting in America, out of the hands of those that are looking to express hatred through murder.
The suspected gunman is due in court tomorrow but remains hospitalized tonight. 2 synagogue congregation members who were wounded also remain hospitalized, one of them in critical condition. And keep in mind you can follow the latest developments on this story on our website, ourquadcities.com.